My first price target for Quant in 2025 is $3,000. Now, of course, that's all financial advice, and also that's definitely not a guarantee. But even besides that, why do I believe that? It's because I think that Quant is very special. More specifically, if you take a look at the Quant network, I think it's arguably one of the most revolutionary out there, because you take a look at what is it made up by, right? It's made up of the Overledger OS and as well as the Overledger network. Now, let's first dive into, the Overledger OS, because sometimes people like to think, oh, wow, this Kafka, man, this trash. But that's not true. What the Overledger OS does is that it allows something called a multi-chain application to be built. Now, some people may think that multi-chain applications are not necessary, but I think it's super necessary. Hashtag Jorge Masvidal. Because in the past, we've seen several enterprises, or let's say developers, in some cases, they've been stuck building on only just one blockchain. Now, if they build an application like that, sure, that could be great if they choose the right blockchain, but as the old saying goes, nothing's perfect. So if they choose a certain blockchain, it may have several disadvantages that they don't really like. But that is where something like the Overledger OS steps in, because a multi-chain application, as the name goes, is basically an application that is, built on top of multiple blockchains instead of just one. So for instance, let's say someone using the Overledger OS wants to take advantage of the security of the Bitcoin blockchain. They can do that, but also at the same time, they can leverage, let's say, the speed of the Stellar blockchain. So isn't that amazing? I mean, they can basically build an application that kind of defeats all of the nonsense that exists with one blockchain and takes the advantages of another one. That's how amazing it is. This is just revolutionizing the way that people build applications, in my opinion. And granted, there's a lot out there right now, but I think there's going to be more in the future, because as the crypto space overall grows, as blockchain technology continues to prosper, it's only logical to assume that these developers, they're going to want to build multi-chain applications. So that's very amazing news for something like Quant. Now, some people out there may think that, oh, wow, okay, that's not even that cool. But come on, man, that's very revolutionary. Now, let's move on to the Overledger network. Now, what this is that it's made up of the Overledger OS users. And these users on there, they can share their data, their apps, their resources, and of course, monetize them. So yeah, that's very amazing. Everything I just said right there pretty much defeats pretty much over 90% of the projects that exist, or pretty much I should say 99%, because can you imagine just how revolutionary this is? But oftentimes people like to say, oh wow, the price is caca, it's like this, it's like that. But I think in the future it could look so different, hypothetically speaking, of course. Now, let's not forget, what is something that is often overlooked when it comes to Quant? And that is the fact that it's focused on NFTs. Now, some people out there, they may think, okay, this is kind of weird, man. Why even bother with NFTs? But I think, the NFT market has a bright future. You take a look at how, for instance, its market size is predicted to be worth over $200 billion by 2030, according to Granby Research. So it's not like it's some caca market or anything like that. And if you think about it, Quant's NFT standard called QRC 721 is a lot better than Ethereum's ERC 721, because you take a look at how arguably, ERC 721, it's often been noted that, it kind of doesn't have the ability to freely interact with a lot of other blockchains, meaning that it's often argued that it lacks interoperability. Also, on top of that, people often argue that there's a lot of security nonsense going on with it. However, when you take a look at QRC 721, again, Quant's NFT standard, these problems are pretty much gone. That's how amazing it is. So you got to think about it. They're potentially revolutionizing a market that could be worth, over $200 billion, basically in the next 5 years, because of course, we're nearing 2025. So that's the amazing mindset of Quant. They understand this, and that's what I really like about it. Now, let's not forget, right? Quant, it's partners with Oracle. Oracle is allegedly the world's largest data management company. So yeah, that's very amazing. And also on top of that, you take a look at how, when it comes to Quant, just generally speaking, right, its supply is so rare. You take a look at, the maximum supply, right? Depending on the exchange, or website, sometimes it's 14.6 to 14.8. But you take a look at Bitcoin maximum supply is 21 million. So you got to take that into consideration. Is something like Bitcoin rare? Absolutely. But what is more rare? Quant. So when people say, oh dude, you should acquire Bitcoin, all this type of stuff. Well, why would I do that if I can actually acquire something that's far more rare, also has more room to grow, and also on top of that, far better use case? Because it can't be denied that the Bitcoin ETF is massive, not only for Bitcoin, but the whole crypto space overall. That can't be denied. Also, Bitcoin, I think, is very amazing for just the crypto space overall, of course. A lot of altcoins do depend on Bitcoin. I understand that. But I'm just saying purely, fundamentally speaking, if you take a look at Bitcoin, is the use case really that diverse? I don't think so, because you take a look at how it's primarily just a store of value. Okay, that's great like years ago, but as of right now, is it really that dynamic? Now, I understand that there are Bitcoin layer 2s out there that could potentially give Bitcoin, newer use cases. But I'm just saying, it's just as a standalone thing, so to speak, it's not really that dynamic. Unlike Quant, Quant has amazing use cases, like, for instance, transaction processing, right? Its use cases. You take a look at gateways and staking, enterprise licenses, developer licenses. The list goes on and on and on. If I just kept saying everything, it's going to bore some people. So, yeah, I think you get the point here. When it comes to Quant, it's a very legendary project, in my opinion, far more rare than Bitcoin. And also on top of that, better use case, I would say. And also on top of that, you take a look at, again, the Overledger OS, very revolutionary. I think multi-chain applications, they could very well be the next big thing moving forward. I'm not saying that they're CAC or anything like that, but I'm just saying, moving forward, man, really the sky's the limit. So I can't wait. When it comes to Quant, I think it's one of the best projects out there. And again, as like my first price target, as basically like a worst case scenario, is it reaching like $3,000 during this bull run that crazy? No, I don't think so. However, that's just my opinion, not financial advice. Now, my second price target for Quant is Quant at the price of $4,000, which people may think is insane. But here's the thing. If let's say Quant were to go to that price, again, $4,000, considering current circulating supply, at that point, market cap would be around $48 billion. But not too bad. I mean, you take a look at SHIB, at one point reached around $40 billion. I mean, come on, Shiba Inu. You take a look at Dogecoin. Doge at one point reached over $80 billion. So this isn't too much to ask for. Also, BNB reached over $100 billion, market cap in the past. And are they as dynamic as like a Quant? Come on, man. Is that even an argument? I mean, okay, let's say we ignore like SHIB or Doge. BNB, like, caralho, porra. I mean, come on, man. That's not even a contest to something like Quant. If you take a look at the BNB smart chain ecosystem, is it really like the most dynamic or greatest thing out there? I mean, a lot of people often argue that like Solana has a much better ecosystem. You know what I mean? Also, you take a look at, there are many layer 1 blockchains out there that have such dynamic fundamentals. Like, for instance, you take a look at Avalanche, Casper. Internet Computer is arguably also very amazing. You take a look at how it's currently the world's most productive blockchain. So I don't think that, again, Quant reaching around $48 billion in market cap is too much to ask for. If BNB can reach over $100 billion, why can't Quant do this, right? BNB is not the most dynamic out there. Many projects out there other than Quant defeat it. So I just don't get why, this is too much to ask for. Arguably speaking, of course, when it comes to the defeating aspect. But yeah, besides that point, again, $4,000 for Quant wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. Now, my final price target, as everyone probably knows, is Quant at the price of $5,000. Now, why is that? It's because even though some people may think that, 4,000 was crazy, let alone this. Well, again, I'm going to showcase a market cap example. It's only around $60 billion in market cap, considering current circulating supply. Again, we've seen Doge reach over 80 billion. I mean, come on, right? But even besides that, we take a look at when it comes to this bull run, it could look so magical. First of all, Ethereum ETF is amazing, right? For the crypto space. Bitcoin ETF, we of course don't need to really even talk about that. Of course, that's very bullish for the whole crypto space. And I mentioned this earlier on in the video. Also on top of that, the number of institutional investors and enterprise adoption is just through the roof. Back in 2021, despite people keep saying, oh, that was the peak for cryptos. No, I disagree, man. The crypto space overall ages like fine wine, in my opinion. It doesn't age like milk, It doesn't age like a one-hit wonder song from the 70s or whatever, made by a rock group, and then they can't make any more songs. No, that's not the case, man. That's not how the crypto space works, in my opinion, because ever since the beginning, you look at the trajectory. Yes, there are pullbacks, but it's generally been positive. And if you think about this, this bull run could look so different again, because even if we take a look at the amount of crypto owners, there's currently over 600 million crypto owners. Back in 2021, even during the peak of that bull run, there was roughly only around 300 million. So you can only imagine that, right? That's pretty much double what we saw back then. So I think this time around, as Bitcoin goes to the price of 100,000, 150,000, of course, naturally, altcoins are going to go along with the ride. If let's say Bitcoin goes to like the price of $150,000, Quant can at least hypothetically go to like the price of 5,000. And I just don't see why not, especially during like a fully fledged bull run when FOMO, buying pressure, buying volume is just through the roof. Yeah, I just don't see why not. Now, again, do I own any Bitcoin? No. Do I want to own any Bitcoin? No. I prefer Quant. But again, it can't be denied that, of course, something like Quant would really do depend on Bitcoin, especially when reaching like those heights, right? Like 4,000, 5,000. So again, I don't think that, the future of cryptos are bad. And I think there are brighter days ahead for Quant. So again, $5,000 wouldn't surprise me whatsoever during this bull run. Now, how soon will this all happen? Now, based off of history, we can tell that as a worst case scenario, altcoins have been known to peak around 18 months after a Bitcoin halving event, which would actually mean October of 2025, around that time, because the last Bitcoin halving event actually happened back in April. Now, is this necessarily going to happen? You never know, because, you take a look at history doesn't always repeat itself. However, it does tend to rhyme. So, of course, I have to, base it off that. But even besides that, could it happen sooner? Absolutely. However, again, that has historically been a worst case scenario. So yeah, that's the time range I'm looking at. However, if let's say it happens earlier, that's fine. I'm not going to be mad if it happens early. Of course not, right? If it happens a little bit later, sure, we have to wait a little bit, but hey, if anything, I can accumulate more. So either way, fine by me. And it's not like we really have to wait like years down the line. If I said this back in like 2021, near the end of it, then I get why people might say, oh, caralho, porra, that's kind of long, man. But yeah, again, we're nearing 2025, so hypothetically, it's not really that far longer based off of history. But even besides that, again, what is my buying strategy? That's dollar cost averaging. So anytime I earn income, I'm acquiring, I'm holding, and I'm just waiting. That's it. I am not a day trader. I don't use leverage. I don't do any of that type of stuff. I don't swing trade or whatever like that. Again, I just like to keep things simple, man. I'm not into like pulling up price charts and then drawing like underwear and then saying, oh yeah, things are going to go up right now. Oh, things are going to go up. We got a short 69x leverage. It's like, God, I don't do any of this type of stuff, man. Come on. I just like to keep things simple. Again, acquire, hold, and I just wait. That's it. I'm so simple that I even cut my own hair. That's a verifiable fact, by the way. Take a look at how amazing that hair is. Oh, man. But yeah, besides that point, again, all I got to do right now is just stay patient, stick with my strategy, because Quant at the price of $5,000 during this bull run wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. I think Quant is that revolutionary. And I think the upcoming peak of this bull run could hypothetically also look very legendary. And I can't wait. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. I greatly appreciate it. It's been Lee the Captain. I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.